I'm Rishabh. As Dexter mentioned, lead AI decisioning at Hightouch, and really excited to talk to you all about how we're applying reinforcement learning and building agents to assist lifecycle marketing in optimizing engagement and driving more conversions. So, to start, what is Hightouch? Hightouch at its core is the marketing engine for data and AI driven companies. Some of the largest organizations in the world use Hightouch as their composable customer data platform to activate all of their data. You may see a lot of logos that you recognize over here. And all these teams have been longtime Hightouch customers, leveraging us to make sense and use their data. So, what we do is we help organizations turn their data investments into marketing outcomes. So, you can think of us as the intelligent layer between all of the different data sources that an organization may have, like their website, their mobile apps, any other tools that they use to collect data, and then the data warehouse that they store it in. So Hightouch pioneered this category called composable CDPs, where we sit on top of any data layer that your organization has, and then help with the preparation and analytics of the data, as well as activating that data into the many destinations that it can be used in, like paid media tools, marketing tools, any operational tools. And so, as we were building this composable CDP product, what we realized was that there was a massive opportunity in the market to build what we are calling AI decisioning to assist marketers into truly driving massive value and work towards a future of marketing that is very different from the one we live in today. So I'm here to talk to you all about that. Really excited to talk through how and why personalization has been a problem for lifecycle marketers over the years, the traditional methods that they've been using to optimize for conversions and engagement, and all of the limitations around those, and then how Hightouch is using reinforcement learning and building AI agents to actually optimize these lifecycle marketing campaigns. And then some real life examples of how teams have already been using our product to drive revenue generation and revenue lift for their businesses. Awesome. So let's step into the shoes of a marketer for a minute. Changing customer behavior is a massive uphill battle. A marketer may know what outcome they want to drive, like driving a purchase, but how do you actually do it? There is a lot of different content that can be sent. What content do I send? Should I send an offer? Which offer is a user going to respond to? Should that be sent as an email, a text message, or an in app or push notification? And then finally, what time of day, which day should that be sent on? And then finally, to whom? Just across these six levers, there can be millions of different permutations and combinations, and humans cannot operate at a scale like that. And so marketers turn to some traditional techniques for optimizing these processes to try to target the users the best they can. So some techniques that you might have heard of are things like A/B testing and split tests, where marketers will have two variations of their experiment based on different levers that we just discussed. But this comes with significant challenges. So, one, it assumes an optimal experience for the entire segment, right? Like you have a winning group and you send that to most of the people, where most people will probably respond to it, but you still lose out on all the people who would not respond to that marketing message. So, how do you send them the message that they are going to respond to? Another massive issue here is the fact that this actually requires really large volumes and a long time to reach statistical significance. So, if you look at an organization like Uber, which has millions of users to send marketing campaigns to, they typically also have to wait around 6 to 8 weeks for their A/B test to reach any statistical significance. And finally, this process has to be repeated every single time there is a new marketing campaign. And the learnings from your previous campaigns or marketing activity don't really carry over to the next time you do that. As you try to scale this, these become really, really hard to manage. You can have complex journeys that try to take the user through a marketing journey over time, but they are extremely brittle to any organizational or process changes. They're really large, they're really hard to manage. And so they end up being really suboptimal solutions for marketers as well. Obviously, all of us in data are very familiar with machine learning models to help with this as well. So you can have things like propensity models that help you understand what a user may react to, what they may respond to. They're still not helping with decision making. They are basically directional guidance on what could be sent to a user, but there is still a lot of burden on the marketer to figure out when should they send to a user, when is it good that the prediction from the machine learning model is actually a threshold that qualifies for the user to be reactive to the marketing material that they're receiving. There's also next best offer, which marketers try to use to figure out, all right, what is the next best thing to send to this user based on everything that we know about them. This is obviously helpful for things like offer optimization, but it still leaves room for all of the other decisions that we talked about earlier, like which content, how should that offer be served, on what channel, and what time. And so the next big frontier that Hightouch has been working on is building AI decisioning, where we're using reinforcement learning, which can actually operate at a scale that humans cannot, to continuously test different variations of marketing messaging across different channels, learn from those tests, and then optimize every single decision. And the best part is that this all happens based on a customer's existing data rather than having to stand up a whole new function. So, what is AI decisioning? At its core, AI decisioning is combining reinforcement learning and AI agents to determine and make decisions on every single lever that a marketing campaign can have. So we analyze all of the user attributes or user features that an organization may have, like things like how long have they been a customer? Are they in the loyalty program? What have been their past few purchases? We also analyze any and all past messages. So what have the previous marketing campaigns that have been sent to a user? What was common about them? What did the user respond to? And then finally, based on this information, we make decisions and send marketing content out to users. Based on how users respond to that content, we get a feedback signal that then helps the models continuously learn and evolve as the audience that the marketing campaigns are being sent to evolves. So let's break down a couple of ways in how we are actually implementing this. So all of you might be familiar with reinforcement learning, which continuously learns from an agent taking actions and their outcomes. So reinforcement learning is great for sequential decision making, where your action doesn't just give you an outcome, but it also influences your environment and what next action you can take. So you have to take into account observations because each action is going to affect the future actions you take as well. So, with marketing, what we actually want to do is optimize for the best possible outcome with the least amount of touch points with a customer because there's limited bandwidth. We don't want to spam a user, and we need the best possible option at a moment in time. And so, for that, we use this technique called multi armed bandits. So, multi armed bandits can be thought of as, let's picture this scenario where you walk into a casino and there are hundreds and millions of different slot machines that you could use, each with a different likelihood of giving you a jackpot. Now, as you explore these different slot machines, you may find one that's giving you a jackpot more often than others. So you would want to keep using that machine. But then, how do you balance that exploitation of one machine versus exploring others, which may, in the long run, actually give you an even better reward? So, multi arm bandits help optimize for this exact problem by balancing exploration and exploitation, where even if our models suggest that this is the best slot machine to use or this is the best message to send to a user, every now and then we will still go against that decision and choose to explore something new so that we can keep adjusting the model and learn from new inputs. Great. So multi-arm bandits, great for making the best possible decision given the information you have at that moment. Now, let's imagine the same casino. These slot machines actually change the jackpot that they get based on where the machine is located or what time of day you use the machine. So that information is known as context. And so at Hightouch, what we're doing is actually using contextual multi-arm bandits that are able to take in features about the users, features about the messages as context into the decision-making process so that we're factoring those into all of the decisions that the AI model is making. And so, how this affects how users use marketing or think of marketing is very easily visualized like this, where in an A/B test, you will have four different messages that you can send. You'll see the one that performs the best, and then send that to all of your eligible users. Instead, with multi-arm bandits, what we are able to do is continuously reallocate which message is being sent to which user based on the expected reward from the model. And this isn't all theory. In fact, it is these techniques are already being used by organizations that all of you might be familiar with. So, Netflix, the next time you log into Netflix and see a bunch of movies and TV shows suggested for you, the ranking of those movies has actually been done by using similar techniques to make sure each user sees the content that they're most likely to respond to. Similarly, at Spotify, I know Spotify changed my life and how I discover music, and how that is powered is by using similar techniques where they predict the next best possible song to show to a user based on all of the user features that they know. I think we're all familiar with Google and Meta's ads and how often they may feel like they're almost listening to our conversations. But actually, all of these are powered by really good reinforcement learning models that are able to figure out what is the best possible ad to serve to a user, what time of day, when, and again, across which channels. And finally, I think the most fun one here, which is Duolingo. So, Duolingo is famous for sending the perfect push notification at the perfect time in order for a user to actually start forming a habit of using the app. And those push notifications are actually also powered by contextual multi-arm bandits. Awesome. So how are we implementing this for our users at Hightouch? Instead of marketers now having to create A/B tests, continuously monitor metrics, or create incredibly involved and complex journeys, what they're able to do is focus on the work that is actually most strategic for a marketer. So they define some goals. What do they want this agent to actually drive, whether it's purchases, whether it's subscriptions, whether it's loyalty program creations, whatever they want the user to actually do is defined as a goal or an outcome in the model. They define who they want to target. This can be a really broad audience. And then finally, they set up guardrails. So even though we want the AI agents to make the best possible decisions, we understand that marketing has to operate within some amount of safety guardrails. So making sure that a user in Australia doesn't get content that's meant for a user in England, or being able to say that a user who is not eligible for a discount should not receive any email that alludes to offers or discounts. Or, for example, let's say you know that your users never respond or shouldn't be reached out to on a Tuesday evening. And so being able to set up those guardrails is something we enable marketers to do to ensure that even while the agent is exploring and making sure that their customers receive the best possible experience, they're still driving input from the marketing organization and ensuring that we run within those guardrails. So once all of this is set up, the AI agents start running and start delivering this one-on-one personalized experience across every available channel, whether it's email, push notifications, in-app experiences, and SMS. And then as users react and respond to these marketing messages, the agents are able to continuously learn and optimize. So the best part about this is that an audience for an organization isn't static. Your users who are part of a certain age bracket today are going to be part of a certain age bracket, are going to be part of a different age bracket tomorrow. And so as your audience evolves, these reinforcement learning agents are able to evolve with the audience without the marketer having to provide any additional input. And so all they have to do is focus on the creative and the content. And all of this is built on a foundation of some core principles. So, our first principle is providing a lot of control and transparency for marketers. So, this is a completely self serve platform where marketers are building the agents in our UI. They're defining those outcomes, they're defining those guardrails so that the agents don't go haywire. And then they have actual transparency into every single decision and what went into the model choosing to make that decision or send that message to a specific user. The second principle is that we want our marketers to actually learn alongside AI. So as the AI models learn different user preferences or what users are converting to, we're building tools or a tool called Insights, which lets marketers view this data as well as input into their campaign strategy or their future campaigns. So, for example, one of our customers that I'll get to later discovered that their users whose top activity was martial arts were responding really well to content that featured swimming, which is something that they would have never discovered unless Hightouch's reinforcement learning agents were driving this massive experiment at the millionth scale across their user base. Final thing, which actually is not just a principle for AI decisioning, but is a core philosophy at Hightouch, is the notion of us being completely modular and composable. Hightouch sits on top of wherever an organization's data may live, and we build a composable CDP around those data warehouses. Similarly, AI decisioning also fits into the pitch in the exact same way, where whatever data sources an organization may have today, it can continue using them. Whatever marketing platforms they use across Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Braze, Adobe, Iterable, even in house ones, they can keep using those, and as Hightouch sends those messages using AI and users take those actions, the outcomes come back into the CDP or the data warehouse that Hightouch already sits on top of, completing this funnel without users or customers having to set up any extra tools or products. What this also lets Hightouch do is actually learn from existing ML models. So obviously, organizations and data engineers and data scientists invest significantly in building ML models that do things like propensity modeling or that help do next best offer optimization or other prediction models. And the model, because we use contextual multi-arm bandits, are able to use all of that information as input data while making up predictions, weighing those based on their likelihood to get a user to convert. All right, so let's now talk about AI decisioning in action. So we have some customers like PetSmart and Whoop who are today already using these AI agents that Hightouch is building to increase their lifecycle marketing performance and get to that holy grail of one-on-one personalization for every individual in their audience. So Whoop in the past, similar to many other marketing organizations, was using A/B testing to improve their performance, but was getting minimal results. So you can see this quote from their AVP of life cycle marketing, where they were trying to do a lot of manual blasts. And so that really limited how quickly they could iterate and test and optimize different campaigns for different audiences. So what Hightouch did was replace their calendar and A/B testing based marketing model with our AI decisioning product, which was always on, always sending the content that Whoop has developed for their customers out to them. And the results speak for themselves. So we were able to drive 10% more incremental sales versus calendar emails. So this was a 10% lift, not just on top of customers that were not receiving marketing, but in fact, a 10% lift on top of customers who were being marketed to in the old way with Whoop. While that was an incredible result, as a result of the personalization that Hightouch was driving, Whoop is predicting a 20% uplift in revenue by end of year. So just a 10% lift in marketing led to a 20% lift in revenue because not only were the users converting at a higher percentage, but because of the personalization that Hightouch was driving, users were converting with higher value orders and orders that were more valuable to Whoop as a whole, driving an outsized return on investment with their revenue. In addition to that, they were able to gain new insights that were able to improve and inform their marketing. So I absolutely love this quote, which is they saw more learnings in 6 weeks with AI decisionings than they had in the previous 12 months. And that's again going back to the ability of a product like AI decisioning and these reinforcement learning models to be able to operate at a scale that humans are not able to. So that example that I gave earlier about users who listed martial arts as their top activity, being responsive to swimming based content the most was for Whoop. And so now what Whoop is able to go back and do is double down on this and say, all right, we're going to generate a lot more swimming based content so that we can send it out to our users who are interested in martial arts. So what's this doing is basically taking the operational overhead away from marketers so that they can focus on the real strategic part of their job, which is coming up with campaign strategies, coming up with creative, so that they can stay on top of all of their users and their patterns and behaviors. Similarly, PetSmart was struggling to drive a higher percentage of their bookings into in-store salon appointments for all of their loyalty users. So they had a loyalty member base of more than 75 million users. And what they wanted to do was try to get them to book in-store salon appointments. So once again, what we did was we replaced their calendar and split tests with our always on reinforcement learning agents. PetSmart had actually invested in propensity models. And so we were able to just use those along with AI decisioning as an input feature. And as a result, we were able to drive within just 3 weeks a 22% increase in their salon booking revenue. Once again, by personalizing the message to each individual user, if they were a dog, serving them content, if their pet was a dog, serving them content about dogs versus cats and other kinds of pets, we were able to make sure that there is a great upside to the customer using AI decisioning, which can be seen with this 22% lift. Awesome. So to wrap up, what we just walked through was how marketing the old way was very rigid and slow or limited as a result of A/B testing or intricate journeys, and how we are now using reinforcement learning and contextual multi-arm bandits when trying to continuously test, learn, and optimize marketing journeys for organizations' audiences. And finally, how this is actually able to drive real tangible results in the wild. The best part, again, is the insights that users receive and are able to then use to further improve their future marketing and come up with new campaign strategies that can then be optimized by AI decisioning's agents again. So this is the AI decisioning by Hightouch. I'm very happy to answer any questions now.
Hey, Rishabh. I had to step in for Dexter. He had to step out, but just here to kind of facilitate any Q&A that we have. It looks like we had a question from Diane, but I think she got it answered. So I think that we're good there. So if anyone else has a question, please drop it in the chat. Otherwise, Rishabh, is there anything else that you'd like to plug, mention? Where can people find you?
Yeah, at Hightouch, you can find us at hightouch.com. And we're hiring across the board. We are obviously looking to partner with as many marketing teams and data teams as possible to further this journey of agentic marketing. So if you would like to reach out, please feel free to reach out directly to me. I can also send my email in the chat or as a follow-up. And outside of that, I think the biggest thing for us is as we continue exploring agentic marketing platforms, thinking about how we are going to enable organizations to use these insights that AI decisioning agents are generating to inform campaign strategy or to look at all of the data that they have available today and to inform things like, all right, now that you know a martial artist user responds to swimming content, how can we help you generate more swimming like content so that you can use that to target marketers or martial artists, and all while still keeping true to that principle that we have of always having humans in the loop, setting up those guardrails, approving what content is going out.
Perfect. As a marketer, this was really interesting to listen to. So thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely. Happy to help.
Okay. We'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.